I was on this vision quest out in the wild for like 3 days out on a lava field, and it was just mountain goats and open sky and rain and wind and sun. So it was a bit rookie mistake to go on out in open land without a tent. But in any case, it was magic in the sense that like being kind of like stripped of all of the normal distractions and kind of being so exposed to the nature. I think that was a big piece of it, like being exposed to the elements, sleeping where the goats normally slept, and they would come every night to see if I was gone. And I was having really vivid dreams. I think that's probably something too, like the state of being that we're living in is also, you know, just like if you're really anxious during the day, it's hard to like feel connected and like know what your, like that whisper within is. I think in our dream states, for me anyway, if there's like a lot going on, then my dreams at night aren't as deep, or I'm not as connected to what the wisdom is within them. But in any case, so then there I was like, that was stripped away. And so the dreams are so vivid and I was so lucid in them. And then this dream of like animals coming up to this house that I had to keep scaring off. And then there was a dream that a chimpanzee stood up on its hind legs and threw a rock at the front door of the house that I was in. And I shut the door and like ran and back in the house scared. And then like that later experience where I wasn't really remembering the dream, that was in my dream journal. And then a goat had come and it wasn't leaving. It was a male goat with the horns, and it was trying to like make a point that, dude, you've been sleeping in our spot for 3 days. It's time to go. And he was like way up on a rock outcropping, and I threw a rock and it hit the rock outcropping just beneath where he was standing. And then he ran off. And then it was only the next day that I read my dream journal. And when I read the dream, I turned white because I realized, holy shit, just the angle and everything. Like I was looking up at the goat in my dream. I was looking down at this chimp threw a rock at me. And it's like, fuck, that was a premonition from the goat's perspective of me, the chimp, throwing the rock. And so like, I get the chills every time I think about it. But like, that was the most visceral experience of, you know, time and space and location of consciousness collapsing. And it's like, my consciousness was living in the goat. And it was living in a future, what we call the future version of a goat, but that's just another location in time and space. And so this idea that we can phase from one being to another, whether in dreams or in life, is something that I really am embodying a faith in and experience of more and more and more, which is, it's not untethering me from reality. I think that's the thing that I always feared when I considered like getting into this kind of thing, or really like allowing the esoteric to overtake me, is that I would lose myself and I would become untethered and like floating through the atmosphere as like some like disconnected person. And, you know, like, but it's not at all. I feel equally grounded and in this material world. Like I'm not walking out in front of traffic.